My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full UFC fight cards. We give you our picks, our bets, and our fantasy plays. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our content. And our videos are brought to you by BETU Play to Earn. BETU Play to Earn is the world's first play-to-earn sports and esports betting game. Check it out now at betuearn.com. That's bet, the letter U, earn.com. And OddsJam. OddsJam.com has the fastest real-time data between all of the sports books, which helps you spot discrepancies and place risk-free bets. Check them out now at oddsjam.com. Every single fight, all of the odds from all of your favorite sports books. And that takes us to the main event of the evening. We have Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall. Alexander Volkov, 34-9 overall. 3-2 in his last 5. He has 2 losses to Ciryl and Curtis Blades. Tom Aspinall, 11-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, and he hasn't lost since 2016 when he landed an illegal elbow. Alexander Volkov, he bounced back after that loss to Ciryl with a solid win over Marcin Tybura. He did not look very good in that fight, but you know, it's still, and it seems like everybody's beaten Marcin Tybura lately, but it's still a solid win to get him back on track. Volkov's a very good striker, has high fight IQ. He's fast, he has volume, he picks his shots really well, and he will adapt in a fight. He's not a big power guy, but his volume and his timing suit him well enough to get those finishes. Despite that last-minute loss to Derek Lewis, he does have a really good chin, and he is a very durable guy. Tom Aspinall is a very good striker who has spent time training with Tyson Fury. For a heavyweight, he has excellent hand speed, good defense, and a diverse attack style where he mixes in kicks really well. But he isn't just a striker. He also has a 100% takedown accuracy and a 100% takedown defense. And just last year, he submitted Hall of Famer Andrei Arlovsky. He has a 100% finish rate as well, which is amazing, but it also worries me because Volkov is stupid durable, and we've never seen Tom finish 3 rounds, let alone 5 rounds. And this is a great fight to find out just how good of a prospect Tom Aspinall is. As it sits now, the odds are pretty close to even. I've seen them bounce back and forth. Some books you can get, close to plus money on Tom Aspinall. Others, you may see Volkov as a little bit of a favorite. So this one's pretty dialed in, and it's just moving a little bit back and forth here and there. I completely understand the respect the books are putting on Volkov's name, his body of work. I mean, we've seen him lose to strikers like Gane and Lewis, as well as grapplers like Blades, who took him down. Curtis Blades took him down freaking 14 times. But he has fought the literal who's who of the heavyweight division. I don't think Aspinall has Lewis's power. I don't think he has Blades' grappling, but I do think he's a better pure striker than Volkov. So Volkov is an accomplished kickboxer, has many kickboxing fights, and he uses it really well, but I just think there is something special about Tom and his hands and his hand speed, and I think you could argue he's the better striker. Definitely has the better hands. Once you start mixing in kicks, it's a little different. So, and he's definitely the better grappler than Volkov is. Volkov's got decent takedown defense, but Tom Aspinall's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on the ground. I think it's a pretty straightforward pick, though. In my mind, I do like Aspinall here. I think he's as talented as his record says. I think he's special on his feet, can make things happen on the ground. Tom Aspinall's the pick. I did throw a money line on him, but the one thing that does worry me is just Volkov's toughness. He's so hard to put away. And I just don't know if Tom Aspinall can win a 5-round fight, and it might be hard to put away Volkov. That's my concern, but I did grab Tom Aspinall at minus 110. He was plus money at one point, and then that moved. But that's my breakdown, Jacob. So I like him enough to bet on him, but I am very, very nervous about that.
Yeah, I like the odds on him. I actually have a bet on him too. I put him in a parlay, kind of an underdog parlay. I know he's kind of the favorite in this matchup, but him, Arnold Allen, and Jack Shore. I stacked all 3 of those guys. I like them all in their matchups. This is probably the toughest one of the 3, honestly, because if you try and pure kickbox with Alexander Volkov, Nobody can do that except for Gane. The only person that can out kickbox Volkov was Cyril Gane. Obviously, Derek Lewis knocked him out, but Volkov was dominating that fight in pure kickboxing and then got knocked out in the end. And he mentioned the Curtis Blades fight. He was taken down 14 of 25 times against Curtis Blades. Looked bad doing it, but since then has looked very, very good. You could tell in his matchups, in those grappling exchanges, he's put on good weight. I think DC talked about it in one of his last fights. You could tell he put on a lot of leg weight. He knew he had to address the situation of takedowns. Otherwise, as tall as he is, everyone was going to try and take him down. And unfortunately for Tom, I agree, he does have good hands. I don't want Tom trying to box or kickbox with Volkov in this matchup. The path to victory is to try and get him to the ground. Tom is a bigger heavyweight. He's not a huge heavyweight, but I think he's going to be physical enough that the size of Volkov and the strength of Volkov, he can overcome that and get the takedowns that he needs. And that's going to be his easiest path to victory because Volkov's going to have good takedown defense, but if you get him on his back, you can control him there, and that's how you can win this much more easy, I don't know if that makes sense, but much easier than trying to win a kickboxing match versus Volkov. Can he still win that match? He probably can, but that's a much, much tougher path to victory than just trying to get this fight to the ground. And maybe it doesn't work. Maybe he tries to shoot some takedowns. He abandons it. That's maybe where he can find himself in some trouble because Volkov does have real power. When he kickboxes and he lands, he's going to have that heavyweight power. So it's a very, very interesting matchup to see how Tom and his coaching and his camp want to play this matchup because I think the grappling ability is going to be there. Whether he can get those takedowns is yet to be seen. I think that's going to determine this fight. But I'm going to pick Tom Aspinall because I like his value, and I think he's a real deal.
Yeah, I think we're pretty aligned with that. People are giving me a hard time saying, oh, you got him at minus 110. He opened at plus 130. You're late, bro. Yeah, I was late. That's what happens. I break down freaking full fight cards every single week. It is hard to be 2-3 weeks ahead. So when I did my research for this one and started breaking it down, I got the odds and I said, boom, I'm going to grab Tom Aspinall because this line is definitely going to move. It started to move. It wasn't the drastic movement that I expected, but it did start to move. So he's only minus 120. I think a lot of that just is respect for Volkov's body of work. I mean, 34-9. Nine's not that many losses, man. 34-9.
He's still relatively young, too. I think he's only like 34. He seems like an older guy, honestly. He seems like he might be 39, 40 years old because he's been around for so long.
Yeah, he's got some bad years on him, though. He's a little older than, his body's older than 34 for sure. But this is another Odds Jam one, guys. This is one where, check out oddsjam.com. They monitor the odds, they like real-time monitor the odds. And this is a one where if you're looking to get better money on Tom Aspinall than I did and that you can get right now, they're going to have that all laid out for you, every single sports book and where those odds are. And you could catch some of these smaller sports book just sleeping on lines because all they care about is college basketball this weekend and they don't care about fights. So they didn't come in there and they didn't make the adjustments that they needed to. So I like Tom Aspinall. Jacob likes Tom Aspinall as well. But monitor those odds at oddsjams.com if that's something you're looking to do. I do think Volkov might be worth the $7,900 in DraftKings, though. What do you think?
This could be an interesting 5-round if this turns into a kickboxing match because this could be an interesting double up. Obviously, you don't want in the big tournaments you usually have to go 6 for 6, so you don't want to double up. But if you're just playing a game with friends like our league or something, it'd be an interesting double up because Tom could get maybe a couple takedowns in there, but Volkov's winning the striking. Volkov's just a little bit. I don't know if I trust his volume enough for $7,900, honestly.
Yeah, I think. It is tricky. His wealth of experience is something special, but I hear you. He may not necessarily be worth that $7,900. I wish he was like 72 because I would absolutely do that. And what do you think of this monkey knife fight strike line? Pretty low for Volkov, pretty high for Tom Aspinall. I think it's a more or less. I don't think if Tom Aspinall's landing 100, I don't think Tom Aspinall wins a decision though. I think he either can put Volkov out or I just don't know what his cardio is going to look like. We've never seen him anywhere near 5 rounds.
Yeah,
I just don't know what his cardio is going to look like.
He could put up 80, 90 strikes in the first 2.5 rounds and then gas, and that's where Volkov gets his numbers too. So Volkov's going to be a tough out, man. I'm Tom on this side, but I even have it in my notes right here. It's not going to be easy. I literally typed it out because this is going to be a tough fight for Tom, and Monkey Knife Fight. I want to say more and more.
Well, we'll find out just how good he actually is. More and more is probably right. 56 is such a low number. I guess it is 5 rounds. 98, those almost hundreds always scare me, especially for heavyweights. But this is a really fun fight, really good card. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, make sure you go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners. Make a deposit. Let us know after you do, and I send you $50 as a thank you. It's literally that simple. You just have to use our link, and you have to make a deposit. Some of you are reaching out, no deposit. I can't pay you. Some of you reaching out, oh, I signed up 3 years ago. I'm sorry. You got to use our links and make a deposit. But I will send you $50 as a thank you for supporting us and our partners.